Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Durmand Diary podcast, your source for Guild Wars 2 news. We're back here, and we're excited as ever to talk about some journeys through the Maguma jungle as Heart of Thorns has come out. It's been about a little bit over a week, I think like 11 days, and yeah, we got some topics to talk about, and first of all, the elite specializations, and we're going to ask you guys here in the podcast, how do you feel about them? So let's start with Switch. What are your thoughts? What are your favorites?
Ooh, well, I was maining Thief before, so Daredevil's a lot of fun. I think it makes the class a lot more fun than it used to be. Having the 3 dodge rolls is like just ridiculous. But I also really dig the Dragon Hunter. It's just a really fun spec. It's nice to kind of change it up and just, run a class that's a lot simpler as opposed to something that's kind of complicated. But just recently, I started playing Chronomancer, and that's probably my favorite. So
I don't know, man. The Dragon Hunter is pretty tough to play. There's traps, like, they're just...
Yeah, but, Guardian versus
That's
Thief,
a joke, but...
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, it is fun. I definitely dig it.
Okay, so you're saying the Chronomancer, the Daredevil, and the Dragon Hunter.
Yeah, those are probably my favorites.
If you could pick a favorite of those, or like, is one your favorite in PvP, where one's like your favorite in World vs. World, or where would you rank those along the game types?
Well, Chronomancer, I've really only had the chance to play a lot in PvP. I think it's really strong in terms of with what's it called, temporal displacement, or whatever the ability is that allows them to revert back in time. It's a really good situational ability. Like, you can really use that offensively or defensively based on the situation. And I think that gives a lot of power to the class that I don't think is really there for any other classes in the game currently. So I do really like that. But Daredevil's a lot of fun, especially in Stronghold. You don't even need, if you just use the dash as your dodge, you don't even need short bow for mobility. You can just zip around the map and collect resources so easily, and it's awesome. So I'd probably say, Daredevil and Chronomancer are kind of tied for me in PvP. I feel like I'm going to enjoy Chronomancer more for PvE, because just what I've done on it so far, it's a lot more survivable than the Daredevil. I still kind of get...
That's actually just what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
So, a problem with the Thief has always been, I shouldn't say much a problem, just like part of the gameplay, is how squishy they are, so you got to be moving around a lot, you got to dodge, you got to evade a lot. Do you think the Daredevil helps with that at all? Does that change that style up?
It's definitely nice that they have, the third dodge. It doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're playing, it actually does. And their traits synergize really well with dodging too. Plus the staff. The staff, at least 2 or 3 of the attacks have an evade on it. And for example, you can trait, so every time you dodge, you remove a condition. So that kind of helps with survivability a lot too.
Okay, so you have 3 dodges already, and then you have evades on your weapon, and now you can, every time you evade, you're losing a condition. Does that work on both the dodges and the evades on the staff?
As far as I know, yes.
What about the elite skill? That thing's sick.
Yeah. I really, really, really want to find a way to get stability. If I can get stability on my Thief, I could really effectively backdoor Lords in Stronghold, because that elite skill does work at downing them. If they're downed, for people who don't know, the elite skill on the Daredevil, it's kind of like a 3-hit combo where if they're in a down state for the 3rd attack, it instantly finishes them.
It's pretty OP whenever they're in a down state.
So, yeah, if you can run in, because there was a game I was playing the other day where their Lord was at a sliver of health, and I tried to run in and do that. But similar to the Guardian, when they're down, they do that AoE push away. So I think it kind of counters that. But I'm wondering if with stability, that might not be an issue. So maybe if I can find a warrior or something with shouts, or a Revenant.
Too bad you can't down people on your Dagger Storm.
True.
So Trill, what about you?
What's up? Well, as you guys know, I played no warrior since Guild Wars 1. That's been my main and my bay for a long time.
I thought
And
you've been playing since Guild Wars 4.
Lil.
yeah, but I don't know. Anyways, so I love my warrior. I mean, it yeah, okay, it's kind of face roll, but it's just really fun to play. Got quite a variety to it. But the Berserker spec is different. Like I hate playing Condi, and the Torch is pretty Condi based, but you can make a pretty strong Berserker build out of it. Nike of D&T put out a really cool video pretty recently about coming up with a really good build for the Zerker Warrior, and it's kind of something I made beforehand, but he shows like min-max type things, and it's actually really strong. I mean, you have basically permanent stability in Berserker stance, or not Berserker stance, but the Berserker form or whatever, Berserk. Increased attack speed. You get huge buffs to ferocity from precision. I mean, it's honestly a pretty good damage buff, but it just doesn't change the class as much as I was hoping that like an elite spec would. And so now,
Right.
I never really played any other class that much, and I really never played Guardian, but I was like, I have to play Dragon Hunter. It was so sick. And now, basically, I can't have any alts. I'd have to be focused on one class at a time, and I love my Dragon Hunter. I'm loving it. And
So are you thinking about giving up your warrior throne to the Dragon Hunter?
Settle down, though.
I'm cool, man.
Never give him up. But
Bro, pop a trill pill.
oh my goodness, the puns. But the Dragon Hunter is just so much fun. It's just it's weird having magical abilities and stuff. Like I'm not used to that. But the F2,
Like the
with
theme
the
is just
wings,
overall different, and that's something you're kind of adjusting to.
yeah, and traps are incredible. Like I know that they're super OP in PvP if some people don't really know how to get around them or dodge out of them. But it's just a really cool concept. I
Well,
really
let's put it
enjoy
like this. A lot of people are complaining about it. I don't know if I'd say they're OP, just people are complaining about them.
Yeah, they really were complaining about them a lot. But now that people know how
complain
to,
about everything, so
yeah, basically. But now
True.
people know how to get around them, so that's pretty solid. But
yeah.
and also today I just crafted Twilight,
Nice.
so that makes it even better to play Greatsword Longbow. So shout out to my boy Crayson for the B-Day gift of Dusk. You're the man. But
Oh,
how about you, Grasp? What you been playing?
who, me?
Nah,
That's you.
no, the other Grasp.
Oh, okay. Let me get him. Yeah. So, my favorite elite specs. That's pretty tough. I mean, I don't know if you guys know, I'm absolutely an alcoholic.
Yeah, we know.
I can't really say I play like one character the most. I mean, like my elementalist has always been more of my PvE character. A ranger, I play him a lot in PvP. But I don't know. So like I hop around a lot, and I wanted to try a lot of the elite specs. Now with the whole system in place, I think a lot of us weren't expecting it. I'm not saying I don't like it with the hero points, where you have to unlock your whole elite spec and gain these hero points. I haven't had the chance to play through them all, but I really have been liking the Herald on my Revenant.
yeah.
I feel like it does too much to like to change up the class, but I do like what it does add. It's I guess like basically like with the facets, it's kind of like having signets, So it definitely adds a whole new dynamic to the Revenant, and I like it a lot. I like what it brings. So that's like with PvE. PvP, I've been really enjoying my Tempest. I've been running an Oromancer build, so
Yeah,
basically
when we played the other day, that was crazy.
oh my god, yeah. I mean, I'm popping heals, I'm popping boons on allies, and the thing is, it works in both Stronghold and in Conquest. And the more people I'm around, the more powerful I am. So
Yeah,
I've been really
that was
enjoying
awesome.
that. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Going
but I
back
really
to-
want to. What's
My
that?
bad. No, go ahead. Go ahead. My bad.
No, it's definitely your bad, but I want to hear what you have to say.
Oh well, okay then. I will accept my bad. Getting back to the Revenant, what weapons have you been playing? What legends mainly have you been playing?
Okay, so weapons and legends. I mean, you got to have the hammer because that gives you a lot of range. It's like
It's
1200
awesome.
range.
Yeah, and the
So
reflect.
like that's Right, and the reflect. Actually, I forget about that a lot, but it's pretty useful for sure. It's pretty cool too. How like it depends where you're pointing, so
Yeah.
I can see that being a lot of fun. I really haven't messed around with the new combat mode, but I can see that being a lot of fun with like how wherever you're pointing, it's facing that. But so yeah, I've been using the hammer. Also, I've been kind of switching between the staff and sword. And I kind of just like, if I need to be more tankier, I use the staff because it's got that real nice Condi cleanse and heal ability on it. It also has the reflex with the blinds. Actually, it's not reflex; it just blocks. And then also the healing orbs on the auto attack. But the sword does more damage, so I kind of alternate between those.
Have you
Uh,
tried running sword axe?
yes, and I like that because of the auto attack on the 4 skill. So like if I run Shiro, I have the Shadow Step. Did I say auto attack? I meant Shadow Step. Anyways, Shadow Step on the Shiro, on one of the Shiro skills is Shadow Step. So I have that. And I also have the Shadow Step with the axe,
Yeah.
and
Like
so I
the
like that.
pull.
Also, and the pull, yeah. I haven't played Revenant in PvP too much, but I can see that being really useful.
I I was really wanting to play Revenant a lot in the expansion, but Dragon Hunter just got my full attention, like I said. But playing Herald is absolutely incredible, and being able to use Shield, like it's so much fun.
Yeah,
It's
well,
so much fun.
it's pretty cool. Like if you're in the lore, like I know we are.
Oh yeah,
You can
super
now use
hardcore.
the legendary shield, the Flameseeker prophecies, and that is Glint all the way. I mean, I don't want
Yeah,
to
also the
spoil
Gwent
Guild Wars 1, I
shield,
guess, but
Gwent's Bastion. That's an awesome looking shield. Or
Yeah.
the
yeah, it looks like a
fully
legendary.
yeah, the Dragon Wing is awesome.
Yeah, that's
But
me. I mean, I guess as far as legends on the Revenant, yeah, like obviously I've been running Dragon Stance because of Herald.
yeah,
Um, I guess Shiro. That's a lot of fun. I like that instant quickness like ability you have. That's pretty useful,
oh,
especially like when you're
impossible
gathering
odds,
stuff.
right?
Yes, dude, I love the fact that it's named after Guild Wars 1 skill from
Yes,
Shiro
Zero.
himself. I hated that skill,
Yeah,
but
it would
now I
just
love
one
it.
shot like everything.
Right? So annoying, but it's so useful now. I love it, especially like when I'm gathering stuff. I can just pop that quickness and shoo, shoo, shoo. But yep,
What was
that's
that?
me. I mean,
What does it do whenever you pop it?
oh, it gives you quickness
No, what was
and it
that
gives you
sound?
super speed.
He's
What
talking about
was
the shoom shoom shoom.
that?
Oh, that was me just firing my bullets, bro.
Yeah, fire away. Have you guys unlocked any of the specialization collections yet?
I'm furthest on my Daredevil, but like I said, I just switched to Chrono, so I just got the shield today.
Nice. What do you get when you finish a specialization?
I think it's an ascended, whatever the new item that specialization can use. It's an ascended form of that, and it's like a unique skin as well.
But like, because like, I got a torch when I started the Berserker, and then I got a helmet when I finished the specialization. I think
Huh.
you get like two things, and you can like farming a collection, I guess, to finish it.
Oh, you're talking just finishing the collect or the
Y-
specialization.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought you were talking about finishing the actual collection. Yeah, I think it's like initially you get a weapon, and then I think when you finish it, you get a helmet, and then actually completing 100% of the collection for that spec
Get the
nets
special
you
thing.
an ascended piece. Yeah, I
What
actually
Well, yeah,
really
it's
want
like
the
I'm looking at it
shield.
right here. So like for the engineer, the scrapper, it's the fixer upper, and it's an ascended hammer, and basically you got to collect like 7 different things,
Yeah.
and once you get that, you unlock the it's an ascended hammer. So honestly, man, I haven't really paid attention too much to that stuff. Like I just been so overwhelmed with everything else that's going
God,
on in the
right?
game right now. I mean, I'm trying to play Halloween stuff. I'm trying to do Heart of Thorns stuff. I'm trying to get my mastery up. So
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah,
I've
just
like
leveled.
flooded.
I've
oh
been
my
leveling a
gosh.
ton through the Halloween stuff. Like I got my Mesmer up to 80 through that. My Ranger's really close. I got a Revenant that's already like approaching level 40 now. I've just been farming the crap out of it,
Yeah,
taking
it's like all these
advantage while it's
people.
here.
Everyone's like, I want to, instantly pop my Revenant to 80. It's like, dude, just go to the freaking labyrinth and, you know,
Save your tomes.
yeah, see your
Yeah,
tomes and get drops.
I figure Heart of Thorns is going to be there, but this expires in a couple days, so
Yeah,
Well,
Wednesday I think it goes away.
is it Wednesday?
Yeah, 2 days.
Some people were saying
2 Mondays.
tomorrow, but yeah, all right, that's good.
Um, yeah, like I tried the precursor quest thing. And there's one thing that's left bugged on Twilight for the first volume that's really bothering me. But hey, I got Twilight anyway, so whatever.
Congratulations,
I know.
man.
Chris, the guild, he just got Spark. Just finished that last night, or maybe today. I can't remember. But congrats to you. And I've also been trying the Fractal back piece, the legendary back piece, time gated. But it's gonna be so sick when I finish that thing. That is my main goal in this game, is to get those wings.
Yeah, you've been hitting fractals hard lately.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. But it's been fun. I've been overwhelmed, but it's been a lot of fun. Got our guild hall. Guild hall's sweet. Got Gilded Hollow.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That was so much fun.
Huge props to ANET for that, because that's.
Yes.
I mean, I know that rating isn't even out yet, and there's still a lot of the fractals that I need to experience, but that was hands down one of the coolest things I think I've done in this game so far. Just the big group, like controlled instanced content was amazing, and they did so well on it, and it was actually moderately challenging.
Right. It wasn't like super difficult, also wasn't super easy, and I think it was a pretty good balance because, I mean, you got some of these littler guilds, and they don't have that many people. I mean, the event does scale, but it's more difficult to coordinate. If you're not like, if you don't have as many like veteran players and such. So I think they had a happy medium there with the the event. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Plus all the drama of finding a Mesmer in the group who actually, because we did that like the first day the game came out, right? First day of the expansion.
We got together and did that.
Yeah, so we had to hope and pray. Thankfully, one of the guildies was a Mesmer that had the mastery that we needed to get in there, and he just had to port everybody.
You're the man.
So
oh right, took a portal through the what's it called in the bottom of the city.
Yep.
Yeah, interior. Love you, Zoda. You might be a troll, but you're our troll.
That's it.
Yeah, let's move on to some news, guys.
All right. Yeah. So
news. There's no news in Guild Wars 2. What are you talking about? Nothing's happened in months.
It's been so stale, man.
The game's been so
good,
in my
toast.
Nothing going on. But yeah, so the Heart of Thorns launch was really, 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 really good in my opinion.
It was incredible.
I mean, I pretty much devoted my entire day of launch day to Heart of Thorns. I went to bed the night before about 10 o'clock and woke up at 3 to be there for the countdown and to start playing. And I mean, I've done other MMO launches before, and there was like no latency at all. It was super, super smooth. And it was like that all day. I mean, of course, every hour or so it felt like there was a new build, but bug fixes just kind of have to happen, and that's to be expected. But it was a really, really smooth launch, in my opinion.
Down goes our GPA, boys.
Yup.
Yeah, I've already been taking a hit.
Yeah, me too.
But with that in mind, I mean, ArenaNet's still been trying to work out some bugs. I guess there's a bug right now. A lot of people are getting memory leaks, and that's, I don't know. I don't know if they know where that's at yet or not, but we know a couple people in our guild that have had that issue, but it's not something I've run into. I mean, Trill, you were saying earlier that you were having some issues with the game, but you just reinstalled it and it fixed a lot of your problems, right?
I mean, I have an older graphics card, which is probably causing some of the problems, having some effect. But I do think the memory leak did have some issues with the RAM, like you guys were talking about. Since I need to upgrade the RAM as well.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, wasn't somebody saying they were getting like blue screens?
Yeah, Carbon Alex was actually saying that he got a blue screen today, actually.
Yeah.
So I don't know if any of you guys who are listening are getting blue screens, or just don't feel alone.
Your computer's not dying. It's not your computer.
They're working on it.
Yeah.
They're working ANET has been working super hard to fix everything.
Yeah.
You don't know that? You're not in ArenaNet.
You're right. I only look at Reddit.
Or is he?
Yeah, maybe I am an employee.
There was another change that they did that actually, I think, at least between Grasp and I, we were talking about it, but little controversial. And that was the mastery point change.
Oh,
so
yeah.
They reduced the mastery point requirement to get your elite spec. Sorry, hero point. Was it from 400 to 250? Is that right?
It was.
Personally, I think, don't hate me, everybody, but I think y'all were whining a little too much. I thought it was kind of nice because then the
Oh, you're
elite
hated.
specialization sort of felt like prestigious, where you kind of had to work through the expansion to get it, as opposed to just hopping in and getting it within an hour, or if you had map completion, then you already had it. I don't know. What did you guys think of that?
Well,
I
I mean,
agree.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, there's two sides to every story, obviously, and I mean, there's two ways to look at this. Everybody who participated in the beta, they're playing through with their elite specs, they're going through Verdant Brink, and so they have in their mind, like, yeah, I'm gonna get this expansion, I'm gonna play through Heart of Thorns on my elite spec. That's what I'm looking forward to playing. So you get in there and you realize, like, oh, crap, I gotta get 400, hero points. That's, what was it, 40 hero challenges? Because like, there's 40 and there's 10
Yeah,
points each.
and especially
Yeah, so
like
if you want to get,
if you
go ahead.
toned your character, it was pretty difficult to like go through Heart of Thorns and try to do all that. I mean, that was probably one of the most difficult things, like for my Guardian, even with still 250. Trying to grind. I mean, that was 25 hero points. I had to go get some of the in Central Tyria just because, like, I didn't feel like having to grind some of them out because I didn't have all the mastery points at the time. It still took me like all day to get that. But yeah, like if you toned your character, I feel for you.
Right, and you also don't
Hardcore.
want to like rush through the Heart of Thorns content, like
Exactly.
go to all the maps and spoil stuff for you just because you want to get your elite spec. Another thing to think about too is like some people, so they like crafted their ascended armor and they got their ascended weapons for their elite spec, and so they get in, they're disappointed because it's going to take them,
Yeah.
pretty long time to be able to use that stuff.
Yeah.
So I do agree with Switch in some senses. I'm kind of like in the middle on this. I like the idea of like, yeah, I earned this. Like it took me some time, and it really feels good to be able to use, my new elite skill and my new elite spec and like that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, I understand why people were disappointed, and I think they found a pretty happy middle ground where
Yeah,
it
I
still
mean, if it
takes
was
some
like
time.
100 points, that would have been ridiculous. But 250 is
Yeah,
pretty solid. It's only a 150 point drop. 15
Yeah.
hero challenges.
Yeah.
I'm just glad it's not like you can like if you already had map completion on a character, then you already have your elite spec unlocked. I'm glad
It's
it's not like that.
it's
Yeah.
pretty close though. I mean, my thief had map completion, and I really only needed to get a few more until I
Yeah.
maxed Daredevil out.
Yeah, I like when they made the change, I just instantly maxed it.
Yeah.
There's no I mean, I probably have like 40, 50 left over.
I went from about not even halfway to pretty much maxed. I was like 3 points away from maxing when they made the change. So, and that
Yeah, but the thing
was,
is, you got to think about a lot of new people are coming in to play Heart of Thorns, especially a lot of the people who got the game for free now, and so they haven't done like map completion. Like the veteran players, yeah, like they've done that, but a lot of the new people didn't, and they were really looking forward to some of this stuff. So
yeah. I mean, I can see both sides of the argument as well. Um, so I don't know.
But yeah, good job, Marinette. I think they found like I said, a happy middle ground there.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, got to make everybody happy, or at
Yeah.
least try to make the most amount of people happy.
please the majority.
I think
Yeah.
more people were definitely put off by the high number, um, as opposed to it being reduced. You know what I mean? Like more people were sort of upset by seeing, oh, it's 400 points. I'm never going to get this. And then there were some people who were similar to me where, I'm sure I'm not the only one who liked where it was at and thought it was okay, but I'm not necessarily crying that it's reduced. I mean, it just makes it easier. So I can't really hate, but at the same time, I didn't have a problem with it in the first place.
Yeah.
I feel you.
But moving
I
on to the
feel you,
last
bruh.
bit, there was another update that they actually just announced today. Well, not really an update, but just kind of a
Post from
road
Colin.
ahead. And they talked a lot about rating, how rating's coming soon, the squad UI is coming soon, and PvP leagues are coming soon. And I don't know. We'll definitely link the post in the comment section, or not in the comment, but the description on the YouTube, so you guys can check that out. But I think that's something we definitely want to cover more in depth in a future episode.
Yeah, because it's coming out
Legendaries,
in
raids, and squad UI. Oh my.
it's coming out in mid-November. So I think maybe like our next episode we'll have some more information for you guys about it, a little bit more in depth on
Yeah,
some
for
of the
sure.
legendary stuff and the party UI. The squad UI is incredible.
There's just so
Absolutely
much to talk
incredible.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really pumped for that, man. There's been so many times already. Like when I was playing the event in Auric Basin, where I wanted to have the whole squad UI thing working. I'm like, oh crap, I still gotta wait for that. So I'm totally looking forward to that.
Yeah. But that leads us to our main topic of the day, and that's going to be raiding. You want to
Yep.
take over on that, Trill?
I sure
Rating?
will.
What's rating?
So, did you guys get to try it out at all in the beta, in the last beta weekend?
No, I did not.
How
Nah,
about you, Grass?
man.
Alright.
I was ready to do it. Like I had my druid already and stuff, and yeah, it just like obviously wasn't working. And then by the time it was fixed, I was already like I was off the game. I think I was asleep.
So yeah, I got in for like the first second before they took it out, and then they took it out. Then I like skipped the class because I saw it was up. I saw a post on the subreddit app on my phone for Guild Wars 2, and I was like, this is looking pretty great. So no, sorry,
So much dedication.
sorry GPA, but
Determination, dough.
I had to try it, and it was honestly unlike anything I've ever experienced in Guild Wars 2 before.
Like in a good way?
Oh, it was incredible. It was
Just have to make
absolutely
sure.
incredible. I played on a Revenant on Gwent and Shiro spec, and it was awesome. I mean, we didn't really have a specific comp, but we just kind of went in there and just tried out all the mechanics, give it 2 or 3 tries, and basically there's give you guys a rundown of it. It's called Spirit Veil, and there's 3 mobs, or kind of like, I guess you'd consider them champs. There's a red, a green,
Like it's a
and
champion like boss or
It's not like the actual like wing or like one of the bosses in the wing.
okay, so it's not like a final boss, but just like
Yeah, it's 3. It's 3
Okay.
like they're not really trash mobs, but they're like what I consider like a really hard veteran or champ, and they all have different mechanics. Like one only gets affected by condition damage, one only by physical damage, and honestly cannot remember the other one, and I cannot remember the colors. I think that they have a post about it somewhere, and I'm sure it's on the Reddit and on a forum post somewhere. We'll get that information soon for you guys. But then when you get to the like actual boss, the Veil Guardian, he's like all 3 of those combined. So kind of giving you the rundown of the mechanics of the fight beforehand. Then you go in and start fighting this dude, and there's like this orange circles keep popping up. You have to have at least like 3 or 4 people in there. And Grass, I think you were saying something cool earlier about the fact that minions and like Ventari's tablet and stuff can be in there counting for people. What were you saying about that exactly?
oh right. So like obviously I didn't play it, but I watched videos on it and stuff. And I mean I guess like I'm pretty glad I didn't get to play it because that still saves
Yeah.
experience for me. But yeah, anyway, so like when I was watching the videos, I guess there's this part where you have to have somebody standing in the circle, and unless you have like 4 people standing in these circles, it just like wipes your party. I think that's what it was.
Basically, yeah.
But also you got minions standing in there. So like if you're a ranger and you have your pet, you can also drop a spirit, and that's 3 people standing inside the circle. So all you need is like one more person. And especially with this whole like update to the minions where they take like incredibly reduced damage through AoE unless it's direct damage, like the boss or the enemy is directly targeting the minion. That just I feel like that adds a lot more room for minions to become more of a viable thing now in raids. And I'm definitely looking forward to see what people can do with that.
Do you know
Sure.
if that AoE damage reduction counts for like Mesmer clones and phantoms as well?
Yeah, man, it's everything. It's just not in PvP. Like in PvP, it's still the same, but in any minion for PvE, it's a damage reduction unless the enemy is directly targeting it. So yeah, Mesmer, Phantoms, and Clones, Spirits, Guardian Spirit weapons, obviously Necromancer minions, all of it.
Nice.
Awesome. But so you start burning this boss down, right? And then when it gets to like I think it's 50% health, he splits into all 3 forms again. And you like go burn them down. They're coming around just like destroying you. And you got around 25% I think one time, and then I think he split again or something else happened, and we just wiped. Or maybe someone
Okay.
didn't stay in an orange circle.
So you're saying like these champions that you fought earlier that
Yeah,
are like these different aspects, like one's condition damage and one's physical, and then you fight it all together at once, but
And they
throughout the
split back
fight he
up.
breaks apart into like the individuals again.
There's literally no line of sighting in this fight. There's like no line of sighting, stacking, anything. Like it's constant movement, constant communication. This is honestly difficult content, guys. I really only think that one team beat it during the whole beta, Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but that's what I heard or I read. Might not
Yeah,
be
we mean
true.
no disrespect to anybody who beat it along with these people that we're talking about that we don't even know. But
Yeah, for sure. And congrats to you because that fight was incredibly difficult. Um,
Honestly,
but
I'm really happy that they're kind of breaking the mold of like, all right, stack, everybody cast might, and then let's just stack here, cause all the mobs to group up and just cleave. Because like that's cool, but I feel like the
oh, it's
dungeons became,
boring. Let's be honest.
yeah, the dungeons became so just like too
Brainless.
organized. Yeah,
And that's not how. I mean, look at the combat in this game. Like, it's very interactive. It's a lot of moving around and dodging. Like, that's not how they designed this game to be. And it was an anomaly. Like that's what it
yeah.
was. But they definitely didn't intend it for it to be like that. So
So it's cool that they're forcing the gameplay to sort of change that mold. I mean, obviously you can still go into your dungeons now and do that, but I really like that for raiding. Hopefully, it doesn't turn into that. But who knows what could happen in the future? I mean, when the game first launched, people weren't stacking like that in dungeons. I heard it was just total chaos.
yeah, there's some really cool lore things that they didn't include in the beta for obvious reasons. But I'm just honestly I'm so excited for this, guys.
Yeah,
yes.
it should be good.
So Trill, like you were the only one who did play through the raid. Do you think what do you think? Do you think it could become like a whole Stack Wars kind of thing again, or
No, I really don't think so. I highly doubt that they're gonna let that happen again. I mean, I think that might be part of the reason why they took away some of the rewards for dungeons because they want
Hmm.
more emphasis on like the raids. Dungeons are just like leveling up. Get some experience, get some tokens, get some gear. But raids are going to be, you get legendary armor from this. I mean, you get the precursor, you can craft it. I really think that this is going to be completely different, game changing. And I swear, if any of you cry that it's too hard, please go back to running AC Path 1. Like
air
So
conditioning?
this is hard content for the hardcore players. And granted, like people should, I mean, don't be an elitist about it. We're not elitist. Our guild name is Bros Before Pros. We're not elitist. But I mean, we definitely
I
want.
thought it was bros before hoes.
Pros, bro.
Oh,
We're
right,
good
right, right, right.
players. We're good players. We know what we're doing, and we want it done right. But it's gonna be difficult. I mean, it's for the people that want difficult content.
Yeah.
Fractals. They're reworking fractals, make them a bit more difficult, better rewards. But this is like this. Oh, I'm so ready for this.
So
This is like the
interesting.
underworld. For those of you that play Guild Wars 1, this is like
The
the
do all
underworld,
and end all.
the be all end all.
So I've got an interesting question.
Ask me,
Something we
baby.
can kind of debate here. I was actually in talking to the guild about this a couple days ago, and it seemed to get pretty heated. But let's talk about raid compositions.
Do
Let's
it.
start with what we think um, the ideal raid composition will be, and let's go through it like class by class and kind of give our thoughts and opinions on how useful they'll be in a raid.
All right. Let's start with Thief. This one has probably the most controversy, especially in our debate within the guild
Yeah.
about it.
I'm
Go ahead. You
heartbroken
play
on
Thief.
this because I play a thief. Well, I did up until now, but it's just I don't see it being really useful. I mean, there's definitely not going to be a class. I don't see ArenaNet's not the kind of game, or sorry, not they're not the kind of company to make a class obsolete. But
Yeah.
I think when you're looking at rating and stuff like this, like yes, you can bring a certain class into the raid, but you have to start looking at like, oh well, if you have an alt that's geared, and you know, how much better would it be to just bring that other character instead? And I think that
Yeah.
that's what the thief has become. Because we were talking, and yeah, they could run, you know, some sort of venom sharing build, I guess, and only use ranged weapons and sort of build to kind of sustain a hit or two. But at the end of the day, thieves are incredibly squishy.
Yeah.
And
That's true.
if you get stunned or caught without a dodge, you're done. And people in the raid group aren't going to want to sit there and have to babysit you the whole time and keep picking you up because it's just not fun. And for that other person, then they're wasting time. So say, for example, it's a druid. Well, then that druid's wasting his time healing the other party members by picking you up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that was my
Yeah.
argument too, like about having the venom sharing. So no, when I go roaming World vs. World, I play a venom sharing build. If I can share it to my whole party, it's OP. Like it's just wrecking people.
Yeah.
But I mean the interrupts too, they're good, but it is just a squishy class. I think it'll have its place. In all honesty, I think even if it's just at least one boss, I think it'll have its place. But I mean, play what you enjoy.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, this isn't.
Especially at first. I mean, there's no meta
Yeah.
when these raids come out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. There is literally everyone's a noob at this. Everyone's a noob. I don't care if you beat the first boss, you're a noob when it comes to raids. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Okay,
for sure.
so Switch, I have a question. So you feel like thieves aren't going to be like, too useful in raids? Well, how do you feel like they could change this? Like, how could they make thieves more viable, at least from like what you're speculating right now?
That's a really good question.
Toughness.
Personally, I think if they could somehow make it so they could be just a little bit more survivable. Obviously they don't need to be on par of tankiness with like a warrior or a guardian, because they're not the same kind of class at all. They're completely different. But
Yeah.
for some, like, yes, you can reduce incoming damage. You can trait so that way your stealth is really a defensive tool. But I don't know how reliable that is, because then the same situation of being stuck without a dodge roll, when you get stuck with a reveal and you can't stealth for a few seconds, then you don't have that option. So whatever they need to do, I feel like they would just need to make it so the thief can at least take a couple hits. Because I know that, doing dungeons, yes, I'm running Zerkers, but I've run other types of stat combinations and even trying to be a bit more tanky with my general build and trait lines. But you still, usually I would run like sword and pistol to get pistol whip, so I would just stand on the stack and just pistol whip because you're just evading the whole time. So usually I was safe. But as soon as I would get stuck without that and I got hit, I was usually dropped, and it wasn't uncommon for me to get picked back up and dropped right again immediately because I didn't have a dodge roll. So that's just what worries me. What worries me is that, yes, they could be really, really good if you are really, really good at dodging. But as soon as you're stuck without it, you're just done because they just can't take a hit.
Yeah.
So
So like,
that's
what about?
what they would need to change, I think.
Have you tried like any of the new stat combos? Like, I know they have like now 4 like stats instead of 3 as they had before. So like, I'm wondering like maybe with the thief, where their vitality, like their health is so low by default, like maybe you could run one of these new types of stat combos, and you get that vitality boost, but you also get those other stats that you had from another type of stat set. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, we'll just have to see. My concern with that then is that you're spreading the character too thin, and then it might not be effective.
I
You know
play
what I mean?
Marauders, which is the 4 stat, which is power, precision, vitality, ferocity.
Yeah.
I like it. It just, I mean, gives me a little bit more survivability.
What do you
You
play it
also get
on?
infusions. But on it's just mainly my trinkets. But I use that on all. Just split it between my warrior and this.
I think Thief is going to be one of those classes where we're just really going to have to kind of see where it goes.
And
I'm
it's gonna have a
really
lot of utility
skeptical.
purposes. A lot of
Yeah, I
utility
mean,
purpose.
it could, but I'm really skeptical right now.
Yeah.
Okay, well, enough about the thief. We still got 8 other classes to talk about.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to probably the hottest one right now.
The
Ranger.
most HOT one right now.
Druids.
Ooh.
At least 2. At least
Yeah.
2 in each one.
I feel like every raid is going to at least need at least one, if not 2.
Yeah.
Probably preferred 2. They're just, I know PvP is a bit different, but I mean, you get a ranger running druid spec in stronghold on your lord, and it's ridiculously hard to take them down. I mean, they had to pull out, what was it, minstrel's amulet for that reason
Yeah.
alone in PvP.
I mean,
druids were just
They're
healing
just too
like
tanky
monsters.
and they heal too much.
Yeah.
I mean, you play just a straight like healing druid, dude. I mean, it's gonna be awesome. I'm so glad they're implementing a more healing based spec or class, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It's so nice. And like when we're building this comp and like in my head, I keep going back to like a Guild Wars 1 comp. I know you had like mainly this isn't like GVG, but you had some backline, the healers, the monks, some like a mesmer interrupter. You had midline, other casters, and you had a front line, which are like the tanks, the warriors, the dervishes. So I think that like outline is gonna be pretty useful in the raid because I mean screw the Zerker meta, screw that. I'm sick of
Yeah.
that.
The thing that's really interesting about druids, though, and having such a really strong support class, is that I think that would allow at least maybe one or two people to solely focus on just doing ridiculous amounts of damage,
Yeah.
possibly even running Zerkers.
Oh yeah,
Um,
for sure. I'm definitely running Zerker on my Dragon Hunter.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
huge damage.
even with longbow on that, you should be fine.
Yeah, right. I mean, on the Lich and the Labyrinth, I mean, I hit a 16k with 3 stacks of might with True
Yeah.
Shot.
I don't know how you do it,
Ridiculous.
man. I was trying. I
I
couldn't
just
do it.
pressed 2. It was really easy.
Yeah, I was pressing 2 too.
2 2 2 2 2.
I was trying to do that, but I don't have that auto fire, that rapid fire that the Rangers have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
But
basically, yeah, Druid. I mean, it's gonna be awesome.
I think what I like about the Druid is just like the new dynamic that it can add to the game. Obviously, especially with raids, where like there's a lot of people who weren't interested in the Zerker meta, and they wanted to be able to support people and solely focus on supporting people. So it's nice now that there's that option for people who want.
yeah, I agree.
For sure.
What about
As
engineer?
long as we don't have like 55 HP monks or 55 HP rangers, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Oh man, those were the days.
What do you guys think about engineer?
I think Scrapper's awesome. Really strong in PvP. I think it can have a place in raids. There's some turret stuff, some range with nades, or
I think it's the Condi damage, man. Like
yeah,
engineers, like
yeah.
I think they're arguably the best with when it comes to Condi damage. And like you were saying, Tro, like I guess that one boss in the raid, and I guess like eventually at the end, like the final boss, there's a part where you can only do Condi damage. So you obviously are gonna want some Condi damage solely like people there.
Yeah, yeah,
I guess like the engineer could obviously like definitely be of use there.
for sure.
They bring a lot of utility as well, right?
Exactly.
Now,
True,
see,
man.
I feel like they would be similar to the thief, except for the fact that they're actually really viable at range. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
They have way higher toughness too.
Yeah.
But I mean, I haven't really played much NG, so I can't really talk too much on it. So.
Either have I. I mean, it's on my list of things to
Oh,
try.
for sure. When I get the gems to buy another character slot, I'm probably gonna make a Scrapper just because played in the beta and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. I like the new animations and stuff on the hammer.
Yes, dude. When he just hops all around, it's sick.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about Guardian other than Dragon Hunter? Dragon Hunter, I think, is gonna be viable. Traps are gonna be amazing.
I think Guardian has always been a really strong class in a group.
For
Yeah.
I
support,
don't see that changing.
Reflects. Yeah.
Reflects.
everything.
Their boon factories. They're so good.
They just have too much to offer, you know?
Yeah. You really
like
can't
CC.
go wrong.
Like, they got the hammer and stuff, so. How are break bars in raids?
I
Or did you get a chance to really pay attention to that? Or
I honestly didn't really pay attention. We just kind of burned it down. I'm gonna assume they're similar to things like the Wyvern, the legendary patriarch Wyvern, whatever it's called.
right.
But I mean, that's the purpose of all the CC now that I think that they gave us. There's a lot of CC, and traps burn break bars down so quick, like so quick, and I think that's going to be a really good point to it as well. But yeah, break bars. I mean, I like the concept of them. That's kind of off topic, but I really like the concept of break bars.
Oh, it's definitely better than the old system with the
Yeah, the stacks or whatever you.
yeah,
off.
yeah, well, I can't think what's going right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Defiance.
Yeah, Defiant stacks, whatever.
like conceptually, like it was the right idea. Like you want to have some kind of team coordination. You just don't want to like CC the crap out of a boss and it can't do anything. But
Yeah.
all it took was like one headshot on like the thief, like with a pistol, to ruin that all. So
Yeah, exactly.
So what
Um,
about warrior?
oh yeah, it's gonna be used. It's so versatile, dude.
I can see warrior being that Zerker glass cannon that we were talking about.
Either that, or it could be like a tanky aspect in there.
Yeah.
It could be running shouts heal. It could be running banners heal, or just banners in general. I mean, def always run war banner and something like that. But
Yeah.
failing strength wars, man,
failing strength is gonna be sick. Yeah.
always
Um,
sick.
I heard rumor that toughness is going to affect like monster aggro.
As it should. I mean, in all honesty,
I think it
but
already does.
they have
I
a
think
thing
like
of
the higher your toughness is, like monsters will target you over other people in your party that have lower toughness.
That's going to be interesting.
because warriors can stack some toughness. Like, you throw out some PTV gear, they're gonna be straight. You're gonna have like 30k health and a lot of toughness.
Do you think that that's going to lead to some warriors actually running shield?
That'd be cool. I'd really like to see that.
I never see shield ever.
Ever.
On a
I
warrior, at
would
least.
really like to see that. I think that mace, shield, and hammer would be pretty solid as a as like a tanky warrior. A lot of stuns and knockdowns for break bar stuff. Be
Yeah.
solid.
Okay, so like you can see warriors being like that tankier kind of profession
Yeah,
in the
I mean they're
raids,
very versatile. They can also do some range
but
stuff
also
too.
for like for damage. So
Oh yeah,
warriors
they
are
can.
pretty much like in a good spot here. So if
Yeah,
you're a
I
warrior,
think that's
don't
kind of
feel
the
like you
reason
can't.
why. I think that's kind of the reason why we got Zerker spec. It didn't really change too much because Warriors are in a pretty good place, to be honest. In
Yeah.
PvP and
Right.
PvE and War vs. World.
What
Which,
about
I mean, don't hate me, Troll, but I feel like it's kind of a shame. I shouldn't say a shame, but just like, yeah, like warriors are in such a good place, like everywhere, and I mean, I guess it's like a given they're gonna be good in raids.
Yeah,
could you
I
see
mean,
them being useful for Condi damage in raids or not really? Because
maybe.
doesn't Berserker have a lot of
It
Condi?
just, I just don't enjoy it, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that just like they're trying to add that option to warriors, but I mean, if you want to play Condi damage, you're not gonna pick a warrior.
I mean, granted, it can stack a lot of bleeds. It can stack quite a bit of burn. I don't know. I'm not a fan of Condi damage. I want to see big numbers.
True.
I want to see huge numbers. I don't want to see a bunch of little ticks.
Touche.
So Grasp, if you're going to be playing a lot of Revenant, what are your thoughts on that in rating?
Well, we were just talking about break bars, so I mean, like that staff 5 skill. That's like I don't know if you guys have like really played around on the Revenants, but like it melts break bars instantly. So if that's gonna be a thing in raids, I feel like there's definitely use there with Revenants. But I mean, I guess everybody has stun breakers or stuns. So, but I mean, I don't think it's gonna be as much Revenants. It's gonna be Heralds that have the potential to be big in raids.
Yes.
And I don't know, like those facets are like basically like signets, but they share boons with all your allies. I don't know. I think just like if you're up front and you're at melee range, you're providing like fury and might and protection and those kind of boons. I think there's a lot of utility there. But my only concern with that is the whole thing where like they only share with 5 allies, and that's a big topic with raids. I don't know how certain skills are gonna be of use because of that. But
Yeah. Do you think that, like, I'm sort of envisioning that we might even have a couple Revenants in a group running Herald, where you might have a Revenant staying closer in the back, with the healers or the people doing a lot of support that might be running Hammer. And then you also have, your Herald that's kind of up front with your melee guys. Do you see something like that happening where they could be sort of synergizing what do they call them? The
Boons.
abilities?
the facets.
Facets, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I didn't really think about that. I guess I got still get in the mindset of like now we have 10 people parties, not 5 people. So yeah, I mean, I can totally see there being like 2 revenants, and I mean also not just the glint. Like you look at the utility that the other, especially Chalice. If you have 4 or 5 guys up in melee range and they're taking heavy hits, you can provide like a 50% damage reduction with the elite skill in the Chalice.
Oh
So I
wow.
can totally see there being, yeah, I can totally see there being two heralds or two revenants. Yeah, I think definitely heralds. I think it's gonna be heralds, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played Herald during the beta, and it really made a big difference. I mean, just the perma might and fury is awesome.
Huh.
Addicting, bro.
Yeah. That it kind of reminds me a lot of like Mesmer. I guess in a weird way that like uh I could see. Well, actually, it doesn't really remind me of it, but it makes me think about um, sort of with the thief we were talking about. One thing that they could bring is stealth, but the mesmer has like mass invis that affects 10 targets instead of 5. So what you were kind of saying with the herald doesn't the fastest only affect 5 targets, right? So that's going to kind of be interesting. Whereas like a mesmer with at least stealth, they can kind of stand on their own. But at the same time too, they can like uh, use the temporal rift as chronomancer, um, and even possibly throw like double time warps down on, boss burn phases and stuff like that. So I think that could be really cool for Mesmer. But I don't know. What do you guys think about like having multiple Mesmers in a group? Do you think we're going to need more than one or just one?
Uh, I definitely think Chronomancer is gonna be big with the alacrity, and like you were talking about earlier with the what is it, the continuum thing? What's it called?
Continuum
Temporal
split.
rift or whatever.
Yeah,
Continuum
that
split.
thing is sick. Just keep time warp up like constantly. Like Chronomancer has a lot of good places in a lot of things, just like Mesmer did in the first place.
Yeah.
So I can see at least one Mesmer being a part of the group.
Yeah, I mean, having now with the chronomancers, like having one mesmer is like having two mesmers with continuum split.
Yeah, basically.
Ooh. What do you think about Necro Trill?
Reaper is incredible. Insane DPS, pretty tanky. I mean, it's Reaper Shroud. You have another health bar.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Really, I mean, it's strong in everything else. So I saw a lot of people played in the beta, and it really hit hard. So I think it'll have a good place in it. I mean, none of us really play Necro, do we?
I have a Necro, and that was one of my mains for a while. That was actually my first 80. I think Necro is going to be good, even for conditions, even if someone's not running Reaper.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
their
I mean,
ability to pop condies it's crazy. Just that one signet alone, I can't remember the name of it offhand, but
Taking a
puts
spite,
like
I think, or something.
yeah, it puts like 6 conditions on them or something. It's crazy.
Reaper's just such a cool concept.
Yeah, I do like it a lot.
And
Yeah, I really haven't played it, but it's on my table.
Yeah.
hey,
So
Colin
we,
Johansson.
so we got one more class to go, and that's Ellie. I know. Weren't you playing that a lot, Grasp?
He was just talking about the Auramancer from PvP. It's awesome.
Yeah, man, Ormancer. Honestly, I don't know if I see Ormancers having a big place in raids, and I don't know. Just that's just like the nature of the auras. I think like boons are gonna be a little more useful, and also like the whole thing with the Ormancer like is it relies on that water magic trait where you share your auras to allies, but you only share your auras up to 5 allies. So,
Oh,
I mean, that's just like we were talking about with skills only affecting 5 allies instead of the all 10. I mean, but we'll see, I guess. But
What do
I
you
feel
think
yeah.
about
Yo, go
like
ahead.
what weapons do you think would be good? Like staff with the huge nukes, or
On
like
an alley?
scepter?
On
Yeah,
an Ellie?
yeah,
I don't think staff, man, because the thing with the staff is that it's like, I mean, most of your damages come from Lava Font and I guess Meteor Shower, but those are both AoEs, like they stand still. And from what I can tell when I was watching the videos, is that the boss is moving around a lot.
oh yeah,
And
for
it's
sure.
not like in the dungeons where you're stacking, like, yeah, it's perfectly fine. Just drop an AoE field and, melt the bosses. But in raids, you're not doing that. So I don't think it's going to be. I think if you see Ellie's, they're not going to be running staffs.
Okay. Yeah, which is a quick question I've been thinking about, or just popped in my head actually.
Yeah, you're
Totally,
gonna have to
man.
stay mobile for sure in these raids. So staff's kind of gonna be debunked. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how like the 5-person effectiveness works on abilities, and if ArenaNet plans on changing that or not at all for raids.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in the raid UI and the squad UI. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Honestly,
really
man,
excited about it.
I think
About raids.
with Ellie's, like they've always had this sort of like king crown place in PvE. It would be really nice to see them like go to rock bottom with the raids. I mean, I should say nice, but it'd just be nice to see some other classes sort of like get more use
have
where
a
the
good
Ellie's
role.
previously
Yeah,
had. Yeah, exactly.
Twin Potato's gonna be pissed.
Sorry, Dubs P. All right, well, I think that's it for today. If you guys have any questions at all, please post them in the comments. We can also be contacted through our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/the Durmand Diary. On Twitter as well. Our Twitter handle is @the Durmand Diary. We can also be contacted by email, and that's thedurmanddiary@gmail.com. Please send us your questions. Please send us feedback on our episodes. Obviously, we want to make sure our information is right, and we want to hear what you guys all think of Heart of Thorns so far, because I know we personally love it a lot. And in order to listen in, which you're listening now, but there are multiple ways to do that. You can either listen on YouTube, and I know that I think Google's starting this YouTube Red thing, which is kind of nice for podcasts like this. What that's going to allow you to do is you can like save videos locally to your phone. You can also multitask while you're watching YouTube videos with this now. I'm not trying to plug it, but it's like $10 a month. I got offered a free trial, so that might be cool. That might be a good way to listen in. Otherwise, we are going to get these podcasts up on iTunes. Possibility of even doing some Twitch stuff with this as well. I believe that they have something going on now where you can replay a podcast on a set schedule. So enough of these going, then that might be something for us to look into. And please let us know if you guys are interested in that. And then, of course, you can always download our entire podcast for free from our SoundCloud. And that's soundcloud.com/the Durmand Diary. And finally, I just want to give a couple shout outs. Our intro and outro music is by Corvus. You can check him out at youtube.com/user/Corvus Plays. That's CORVUS Plays, PLAYS. Our podcast icon is created by Fuzzy Lombax 416. He's a really good friend of mine, really good artist. And he can be reached on Instagram at Fuzzy Lombax 416. And then we want to give a huge shout out to our good friend Ty. He's been doing a lot of behind the scenes work, and we definitely owe a lot to him for getting this going. And also the final shout out is our guild, Bros Before Pros, and really tight knit guild. Always looking for new members. So if you guys are looking to play with us, we're looking to get into any kind of gameplay, PvP, PvE, anything. So just message one of us in game, or email us or anything like that. We can get you guys in. So until next time. Diaper, that's right.
Diaper. Seriously though, it's a good guild. We have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Been around since Guild Wars 1. Best community out there.
That's the best way to do it.
Guild Wars 0.
But yeah, so that's it for this week, guys, and we'll see you on the next page of the Durmand Diary.
Peace.
Drop the mic.